Sometimes we're just too tired or lazy to make our own food. Are our overly busy lives feeding our Uber obsession with skipping the dishes? Or is ordering in not just a DoorDash of convenience? Today on Talkily. Hello everyone, this is AWC. I'm here today with Laura.
Hi.
With Sid.
Hello.
And with Christy.
Ciao.
And today we're talking about ordering in food. We've all enjoyed the convenience of picking out our favorite numbers on the Chinese menu, or ordering in pizza, or having food brought into us so we don't have to cook. Of course, there's the newest thing of ordering apps such as Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes, where we no longer have to browse through a paper menu, but we can order our food directly from our mobile devices or smart devices. So how about we start with why people order in food in the first place?
Yeah, the reason being is because there's multiple reasons. Either for the convenience, right? If you don't feel like cooking, then you could order your pizzas or your fried chickens, or as we mentioned just now, with the newest thing that's going on, Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, where they have a wider range of menus from various restaurants all over, say, wherever you're from, like in a local city or town, wherever. And with the latter two, like Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, and now what was it, DoorDash?
DoorDash,
yeah. Yeah. There you have a wider selection now, and it brings in that convenience where, if you're too lazy to cook.
That's what I was thinking. If you're too lazy,
If you're too lazy to cook, if you don't want to cook at night, it's just order in.
No, I mean, and I am not saying that I am not lazy.
No, but there are various other reasons why, right?
But I mean, convenience is such a huge factor for me. I mean, I work anywhere. I'm supposed to be working 8 hours a day. It's more like 10 to 12. I don't drive, so you have to factor in transportation. And even when I'm house sitting too, when I land at wherever I'm going to be staying, I don't know what I'm walking into. Or have they left supplies in the fridge? Usually I'm coming in right after work because there might be an animal, so I have to go directly from work to the place I'm looking after. So it's a matter of convenience, certainly, and to a certain extent, laziness. But it's also just necessity, almost, with the lifestyle I lead, to have that privilege of ordering in food.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it used to be a thing where, you would do it once in a while.
Oh, yes, like
right?
a special treat, or like
Mhm.
Friday nights, or like if there was like a big game on TV or something like that, it's like, okay, let's order in for a group or something like that. And they're like, but you invite people over or something like that. Now it seems like
We need to do it in order to actually
Yeah.
get through our days almost, in some cases.
Well, I like to add with what Laura was saying too, is like for myself, like I'm not always in the office all the time. I'll be out on the road, and if I'm like at a job site somewhere and it's time for lunch, and I didn't bring my lunch with me, then what's the closest restaurant nearby? Either I go to maybe a sit down restaurant, if time persists, or if time's pressing, then I have to maybe go to a fast food restaurant and go from there.
for when you guys for ordering in, this is why sometimes it's like it takes sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes before your food comes, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, would it be just as quick to make your dinner?
Yes, if not quicker for me.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But while you're waiting for the food, for me, I'm usually doing other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And there's
Okay.
there's much less cleanup,
Yeah.
right?
Like for me, particularly now that I have a mobile device that allows me to have the apps, I'm
Well-
actually ordering in transit so that it's getting there a few minutes after I'm arriving, or
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
so for me, it's convenient, and it works with my timeline. But it also, again, like you come home and you often don't start dinner right away, unless there's like company coming.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Usually
yes.
you unwind. You might have a
Mhm.
glass of wine. You might throw in a load of laundry, do whatever, pay bills, before you ever get around to sort of cooking dinner. So for me, I have to cut it down because I'm getting home, 8:30, 9
Wow.
sometimes at night. So if I haven't picked up something en route, I have someone bringing stuff to me. I was going to say, going back to when you'd order stuff on special occasions, think
Mhm.
about what you could order, even
That
and
is
have
so
delivered.
true. Yeah,
Yep.
there's so many different options now. I remember as a kid, special occasions, it was Chinese food
Right.
It
Or
was-
pizza.
or
Yeah.
pizza.
Mhm.
Yes, pizza or Chinese. It wasn't like now you've got all your different options that you have. It's like growing up, there was no such thing as sushi. Maybe there was, but
It,
But yeah,
it wasn't
but it
as
wasn't-
often.
it wasn't as often or anything. Yeah,
because it was
or
popular at the
Thai
time.
or all these different.
Yeah. Or Indian food.
Yeah, exactly.
And they
There was,
didn't
like,
deliver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The only place is Chinese food delivery or pizza delivery.
Yeah, well, now you can order like an actual wholly cooked turkey.
Exactly.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
there's so many different options out there for ordering in. So I mean, there's no surprise that the fast food market and that the ordering in market or economy or whatever has grown exponentially. In the last decade. Never mind over the past like 20 or 30 years. Yeah, I think especially right now, for all of us in this decade, um, our lives have become so much busier, right? It's so much more fast paced. So I mean, I think it's no surprise that in the last, a decade, that the fast food market, the delivery market, has grown exponentially as much as it has. Never mind the last decade, but if we look back over the last 30 or 40 years, it's
Past 30 to 40 years, definitely.
it's
Yeah.
it's
changed.
exploded.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised. I'd be interested to see how it looks like in the future, especially now that we're kind of trying to shift away from simply fast food and more into healthy food, right? Because there's a big health push now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. With the fast pace, and I know that now that grocery stores have pre-made meals that all you have to do is they've got meatloaf and mashed potatoes that have already been cooked. You just have to warm up. Now, do you guys consider that fast food or?
I think it's food of convenience. I wouldn't necessarily call it fast food.
So is it or ordering in, or is it?
Well, that's a good question,
Yeah,
right?
there's-
Because
the line is getting finer. From what you're saying, and you're
Yeah.
right, because you have these grocery stores now who are getting a little bit more fancier now, where they're serving like dim sum and Chinese food,
And sushi.
sushi,
yeah.
pizzas, fried chickens, your chicken wings. Like anything you can think of.
yeah,
That now they're already packaged. They've been doing this for like 20, 30 years now. And they're just the last maybe 5-10 years they got more fancier, expanding their palette in terms of of what I just mentioned, Chinese food.
Exactly.
dim
Yeah.
sum,
Yeah.
all that
Well, I
stuff.
think it used to be that, like, for example, if you wanted, from when I was a kid, you could get Chinese food or Filipino food from Asian supermarkets,
Mhm.
right? Or mini marts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you would never see that kind of thing, in a grocery store.
But now
know,
you are.
Now you are.
Yep.
And it's not just a pre-made food. It's like almost expanded, the same setup expanded.
They have
Yeah.
a section for it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's because that relates to the cultural shift too. Like we're seeing more people from around the world, arriving here, and with that, they want to cater to those people and maybe even introduce other foods from different places to a new different set of different culture, right? So
But would you consider that more healthy?
I think it
Yeah, I
depends.
think it
depends
depends
on
on
the
the
food.
food.
Exactly.
yeah, it depends
exactly.
on food. I know there's a lot of dishes where there's a lot of vegetables, lots of fish, and then there's other dishes where there's lots of meat and there's
Yeah.
lots of
Potatoes, and then they've
potatoes.
got like the wing,
Yeah.
wings. Now they've got like some grocery stores have wing bars. Some have a whole salad bar and stuff like that. So is it easier? Like I'm a person who very rarely orders out. So for me, but I would rather, like, me working in a grocery store or I'd rather pick up a rotisserie chicken or something like that there. But I really don't consider that takeout, like, because it's like
it's just right there. It's convenience, right?
it is convenience, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like ordering pizza, or it's
No.
not like ordering like Chinese food, or like any other type of food, or like going to like McDonald's or something. But it is the convenience.
I think the primary difference between what you're often seeing in the various grocery stores is a less processed version. And maybe that's where our sort of fine line between what is definitively fast food and food of convenience lies. Is it's not to say that chicken, that rotisserie chicken, hasn't been basted in who knows what.
Who knows what exactly, right? Yeah,
There's
Deliciousness?
deliciousness.
Yes.
There's that perceived notion that you are getting something that has been made in store. It probably hasn't been pre-frozen. Or
it'll be like fresh as possible, right?
Yeah, depending.
Depending, right?
Even some of those foods are actually shipped in from another place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to tell sometimes whether or not it's made in-house, whether they say it's made in-house. And, and even the definitions, like, oh, it's made in-house. Whose house?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Hills down the
Yeah.
street, or
yes.
like a commissary somewhere,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
So, and it's difficult, right? But I think a lot of great grocery stores are like trying to compete with restaurants and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Even having restaurants inside the actual store.
In a way, it's I'd say a food wars behind the scenes in a way, right? So grocery stores versus restaurants, where grocery stores have obviously that advantage, right? Whereas restaurants, well, you can only see you only see the end result there, whereas in grocery stores, you could see the process of how it's prepared.
But then, okay, so then you see, I have a question for you guys. Okay, so you've got the grocery stores who are, they prepare it there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got your fast food stores where you just don't see them prepared and you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just get it. You open your burger or whatever up and it's there. What about somewhere like Subway or Freshie or something like that, where you see them make it? Do you consider that, like, when I think of fast food, I think of McDonald's, I think of A&W, I think of Wendy's, I think of all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of Freshie as fast food. I don't think of Subway as fast food, even though, like you said, it's more of like a convenience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of, like, I think there's that sushi, what is it called? Chisabi?
Wasabi.
Chisabi, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that, to me, even though it's fast, it's not super fast.
So the thing with Subway and those other places where you see the food there right in front of you and they just put it together. Like even in like...
And you see them making the bread.
Yeah, and even like in places like Thai Express or... or Korea or kimchi. Well,
Exactly,
those places, they prepare them, but like in front of you, which is like pretty much the other 50%. The previous 50% actually is what they did in the background, like in the back room.
Or pre-prep.
They prep everything. They,
Like they
chop the
cut-
vegetables, they prepare the meats, they marinate here and there, whatever. And that's their work. And then the other end result, when you decide to order a certain dish or a certain sandwich, then they have that all ready for you. They'll just prepare
But they ask you what you want, right? So you have
Exactly.
more of control.
Yeah, you have more control of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
which is great. You have that choice.
Let's talk about foods that really shouldn't be ordered in. Like I've ordered some dishes where, I've had it in the restaurant and it's fantastic. And, and I thought, I'm tired, I'm sick or whatever. I want to try this really awesome dish, right? And I ordered from a restaurant and it was like a chicken with like a tomato sauce over top of that. And I got it and it was not the same. It was soggy. It was kind of, it wasn't icky. It was just like, I could have made this better at home. Now, there are some dishes where, like, I don't know, anytime I order Chinese food, it's always great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's always
exactly.
yummy.
Yeah,
That MSG just, you know.
Yeah, MSG is
exactly. The
just-
MSG.
Always yummy.
It's always on point with
What are
MSG.
some dishes you think that we just it's not as good?
Burgers.
Really? Burgers?
Burgers.
Burgers from like a restaurant or something like.
I think it depends on the burger.
It depends, and it depends on what that restaurant packed it in. You know,
Mhm.
like what container they packed it in. If it was a container that was, I guess, ventilated, relatively speaking, then it would come out, you know, good than what you would expect than, say, if it was like a container that was like sealed up or whatever. Next thing you know, you get a soggy burger.
You get a soggy bun or something
A
like
soggy
that.
bun,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it depends where you order it from too, right? Because sometimes if you go to some fast food places, I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not it's, you know, you eat there or you take it out. The only difference is the length of time between where, you know what I mean? Because they wrap it the same.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just that you get to eat it right away versus you got to wait for it to be delivered. And in that time, we can, you know, be affected by soggy burger syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that would be dependent on the driver who's delivering it, right? It would be
Or like
and where
half
it's
a part burger.
located, right?
I have not had fantastic success ordering anything with like eggs. I mean, they're fine. They're edible, but they're just something that they need to be served fresh. Like you can't really, you know, microwave or reheat an egg.
Well, you can.
Like you can.
You can, but
But you
really?
shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
No.
There's a place, a Thai restaurant here in the city that I really, really love, but I will never order takeout from them because I don't know what happens, but it just loses all of the wonderful goodness. Like it goes flat. All the flavors, it
just get absorbed into cardboard packaging.
but it's not cardboard packaging. Like
Or
there's
like,
no reason it should.
styrofoam.
It comes in like a clear plastic often.
Now, do you think it's because of the ambiance that you get when you eat there and like you go out and then when you bring it home, it's like
not the same.
it's not the same.
It's
Yeah.
like you don't get that presentation or something like that. If that's a factor. in a way?
No, because I mean, like I've done pickup from them en route,
and
okay.
and it's been fine. It's something about how long it's sitting between prep, pickup, drop off. Whereas if like I go in, I order, I wait, I take it, and transport, it seems to be better.
So they have a bad delivery service.
But they shouldn't. Like it's the same delivery service that a lot of other places use, and I order Thai food quite a bit. And this particular restaurant is like just
No.
just don't do it.
No.
I was talking to my mother about this place, and she's like, "Oh, well, why don't we order from there?" And I was and we did. This was my first time ordering from them, and it was really lackluster. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is not what this is usually like.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's talk about like have you ever ordered in and gotten the wrong item, a missing
Yes.
item?
Missing items, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because when you're sitting down at the table, right, at a restaurant, you're missing something, you can mention it to your server, right? Even if you're picking it up, like if you and we can get into like the the pros and cons of picking up your takeout versus having it delivered,
Mhm.
right? In a second, but when you're picking it up, I mean, you can kind of just quickly take a look. Oh, is everything in here? Or you know what I mean? But once it's delivered, you know, you don't really have a lot of time. I mean, some people I know they keep the driver there and they go through everything. But even if you do that, it's like, I don't know, it's like they can't do anything about it, right?
Most of the delivery services specifically say that the restaurant is responsible for all food packaging. Now, if you contact the service, they'll contact the restaurant and they'll usually either issue you a credit or reimburse you depending on what you choose. But it's ultimately up to the restaurant. I don't know what kind of penalization the delivery service puts on a restaurant if the restaurant fails to deliver X amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
If there's some sort of
Time is
rating
one
system.
thing. Like, I mean, but if you're going to forget something that I ordered, you better believe that I'm going to be on the phone and you are going to get an earful. And because that's just.
Well, I mean, I think it's how they handle it too, right? Because I mean, I've had times, when we call the restaurant, oh, this was missing. I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'm sorry, and they do exactly what you said. And there are times where it's like, no, we packed it in there. It was in there. Are you sure? Are you positive? Check the bag. And it's like, I'm right here. I'm looking at it. It's not here.
I will
Your
send you a
delivery
picture.
yeah, I'll send you a picture. Your delivery driver ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand how. I guess if I'm paying for something and it's expensive, like some fast food, some delivered, it's not that expensive. But if it's expensive meal, if it's very expensive and there's something wrong, and I've waited 45 minutes, or like if it's really good food, I'll wait 45 minutes. And you forget something,
Yeah.
Have you ever worked in a kitchen?
It can be pretty hectic. It's crazy.
I get it, and I understand that part. But if that's your job,
And this is actually something that I actually have a bit of an issue with the delivery services for this specific reason is, restaurants haven't quite gotten around to this idea of delivery. Like, really, you need an entire delivery team.
oh, exactly, yes,
that
yes.
specializes in like packaging that delivery.
I agree. Yes,
Rather than having, the guy that's on salad also responsible for packaging up.
yeah.
Some places actually
Yeah.
they have like a double checker system.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think
Absolutely,
you need that. And those
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
the places where they don't screw up.
more or less.
More or less.
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's talk about delivery services, and in particular, we're talking like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Skip the Dishes. I mean, these apps and these programs have basically revolutionized the way we order in now.
I use
Mhm.
Skip the Dishes.
Yeah.
I really like Skip the Dishes.
I mean, being able to track your driver.
I know,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like seeing your driver drive around in circles.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going, what are you doing?
We're not only driving in circles, but he's in a circle, like going this way, like in that way. And I'm like, you kinda
Yeah, you
scratching your-
ever have it where like they're on their way to you, and then like a minute away, and then they're driving away from you.
Yes. Yes. It's like, where are you going with my food?
Come
Like
back.
it does a U-turn or something, and then it does another U-turn, and then it does a, I don't know.
Yeah, but I like that they can, because they have your phone number and everything else, and I mean, I've gotten texts like, "Hey, where are you?" I'm like, "We're over here," but I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see this thing," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And most delivery people that I've had have been super nice, and
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I love that. I love being able to like, save, favorite restaurants, and essentially, do really quick reorders
Mhm.
in some instances, right?
Oh, no. I got to peruse the menu every time. I don't think I've ever used that reorder function. Even if I've ordered the exact same thing, I have to go through and like make the decisions. It's part of the ritual.
You know what? I'm with you on that one. It's like, even though it's the reorder functions there, it's like, nah, you got to go through the process.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, right? Because then the next time, if they do screw up,
Mhm.
then you're like, hey, why wasn't this in there? And
Yeah.
then, whatever, right?
Yeah. Picking up though, I think is still cheaper, right? When you go to pick up, it's just
Generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of want to do that myself. I rarely use Skip the Dishes. I only do that when I feel like it. But most of the time, if I order something from a restaurant and I'm like, is it for pickup delivery? I'm just going to go for pickup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you know that for sure, like by the time you go there, you want to make sure you want to double check.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
yeah.
you just go.
Yeah, but if you have a car, right, I think it's way easier than if you're like busing or
Yeah,
It's
walking.
obviously, yes. But if
Yeah.
if you don't have a car, then the delivery service for sure, absolutely, take that.
Yeah, and I mean, like we have some fantastic restaurants around the university. So sometimes, I do frequent them. I sort of have a rotation. not like Monday is this
Monday's
guy,
here,
and Monday is
Tuesdays,
this guy, and
Kind of like a certain TV show.
I'm like, ooh, what do I feel like from that stretch today? But I'll certainly go in and pick up and sort of bring it home with me, rather than using Skip or DoorDash, because the delivery service fees have gone up significantly, and I actually really resent DoorDash because what they don't tell you. So you're ordering, and they're like, oh, delivery is $2.99. I'm like, oh, that's like $2 cheaper than Skip, and then you get into the final.
Paying or whatever. Yeah.
And you're like, that looks awfully high. And so you click the little information thing, and they've got the tax and then a service fee on top of the
Oh.
delivery fee.
It's always the fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine print always bites you.
Mm-hmm.
So, question then: when we're tipping our delivery drivers, we should tip the actual driver in person, right? Like we shouldn't use the app because do they get skimmed off from that?
I mean, I know Skip had a bit of a scandal.
Oh,
I
really?
want to say, I think it was a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Citation needed.
Yeah, citation needed. But there was an issue with how the drivers were being paid because they were advertising 100% of the tip
tips
would go to the
Which
go
it
to
should.
the
Which it
delivery-
should,
Which it
yeah.
should, absolutely.
delivery driver.
Because you're actually saying they actually do want to do 10, 15, or 20%, and you click whatever button, and that's your delivery charge, and that's what the delivery driver gets.
Mhm. Now this is a really interesting conundrum because when you deliver, I mean, this person hasn't prepped your meal. You don't know what type of service you're going to get. I actually kind of resent tipping in advance.
Yeah.
True.
Um,
And I feel too like it. I mean, because the people who are making the meal, I mean, they're doing something. I mean,
Yeah,
they're the ones actually making the meal, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So it'd be nice if you could like tip the
The
restaurant
restaurant.
and tip the driver,
Yes.
and then tip after, right?
Do you tip if you pick up?
I do.
You
Uh,
do.
If it's being prepped in front of me, and particularly my regular places around my work, you definitely tip.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely tip.
Yeah, I tip a certain amount,
Yes.
and then like
Even when you're picking up.
yeah, even if I'm picking up,
You
I
don't
always
know,
tip.
like, but they, like, for me, tipping is based on, and this could have been like a whole different topic or whatever, but tipping is based on how they serve
I know
me.
it's like a pre thing,
It's
right?
a serving. It's not like
Yeah.
that. It's like, I don't know what you did to my food in the back, but it's like tipping is part of
It's like the reward
It's
for going above and beyond. Right?
exactly.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
not like, but I'm picking it up. You're like, it's not like, because when you go to a restaurant, you're not tipping the chef.
You are, in most cases, it's a shared tip pool. So whatever percentage you are tipping, a certain percentage goes to the kitchen often.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like because I worked in the service in the service industry, you know, I've learned to tip, and I tip a certain amount. But then if I get really good service, then I tip.
Do
I'm a
you
really good tipper.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I always
Yeah.
hope too, like because if someone remembers me as being a good, a decent tipper, then they'll go the extra mile the next time. Because sometimes, you know, and fair to them, like sometimes it's just a hard job. It really is, and
Yeah.
having been behind there, I kind of understand. You know, and I know a lot of people do appreciate when they get a tip.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, it really depends on the restaurant too. Like, I won't tip, let's say, Subway
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like a McDonald's.
or McDonald's
Yeah.
or what we would classically think of as fast
Fast
food. So, folks, what's your favorite type of food to order?
Ooh, honestly, I love Chinese food. I love ordering in
Okay.
Chinese food. Ginger beef is my favorite, but I can't have as much of it anymore
Oh,
because of the diet I'm on. So at some point, but I have made a keto ginger beef
Oh, you
recipe.
have?
Oh, it's so good.
is it
so
better
good.
than the quote unquote real McCoy?
Not yet,
All
but
right.
I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm getting there. I'm gonna crack it.
Nice.
Yeah, but Chinese food for sure.
I don't order it anymore because I can't eat it
Oh.
because of
Oh, no.
keto.
This
But-
keto is bad news.
But it was pizza.
Okay.
Yes, pizza with the big like either thick crust and like
Oh yeah. You know what makes a good pizza is the sauce. It's
the
all
sauce.
what's that? What's that commercial? All about the sauce, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's pizza for sure, but there's also, even though I'm Filipino myself, it's ordering Filipino food. Like, especially the fried chicken, like the
Yeah, you know
Filipino
what? I
style fried
love
chicken.
I love picking up Filipino food. When there's like a party or something, I'll
Yeah.
always get spring rolls, right? Lumpia. Oh yes,
Yes.
it's always a killer. Always a killer at
Yeah,
parties, you know.
lumpia and pancit, the noodles. Oh.
Yeah. What about you, Laura? What's your favorite food to order?
I really, really like Thai food. Like the green curry soup with this beautiful coconut broth. That's some really good comfort food there. I also have a fondness for Greek food.
Oh,
I completely forgot about Greek.
Greek.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, those lemon potatoes.
We
Yes.
can't eat anymore. But this, okay, I can never say it.
Souvlaki.
Souvlaki.
Souvlaki, yes. And
Chicken
noodles.
souvlaki was,
Noodles can't eat anymore.
and the calamari too.
Yes, the
yeah.
calamari.
When you guys when you guys and gals order big parties, small parties, like
I'm mostly for myself, but I'm often dining alone. And I mean, it's interesting when people are coming over. I love to cook, but I like to cook for a crowd. I don't really do well when I just have to cook for myself. I don't really love leftovers, which is I think another reason why I order out or order in so much, is because usually it's a single portion. I can eat it all and then move on with my life.
See, I love leftovers. That's why we don't, my husband and I don't order in a lot, but we also do whatever we're going to eat the day, like the day of, the night before, we take it out of the freezer. Like
Okay.
we're real, like it's just me and my husband. So we're really good at prepping our meals.
Right.
And I think that's part of the reason why we don't order out a lot,
Mhm.
because we have like a freezer downstairs and it's full of meat and everything.
Right.
So that's why we don't order out a lot.
Can I ask, do you share sort of the food prep responsibilities or
No, it's my husband.
Okay. All
No,
right.
I bake.
Yeah.
I bake. But I can't eat the baking, but I bake.
Right.
But you know what? Once in a while, if I'm not working that day,
Mhm.
because normally we work 5 days a week, both of us. I work weekends, he does not. But if I'm not working one day, that means I'll be working the weekend. I will make dinner, and it will be like something like chicken breast that I'll just, like we've taken out before, that I'll just stick in the oven, right?
Mhm.
And something like that.
Mhm.
But he kind of misses takeout because he loves takeout food. Like he loves pizza takeout food, and he's like, I don't miss it. He's always wondering, oh, can you go grab me this? Can you do this? It's like, oh, you're on your way out. Can you just pick me up before you? I'm like, no, we got food here. We got this here. It's like, make it yourself.
Mhm.
But if I wasn't there, I'm pretty sure like 4 out of the 7 days he would be doing takeout. And I
Mhm.
think that's the point. Like, right? If you're by yourself, it's a lot easier
Mhm.
to take out than it is to.
Prep for and I mean, I have done the meal prep thing before. I was actually doing really well from last winter until the spring, and then some stuff happened, and I kind of lost track of that sort of organizational, or even just like having that like dedicated time to, go and figure out what I was going to eat that week, go to the grocery store, come back from the grocery store, prep all of that, and have it ready to go.
And like we're on a budget too. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a crazy budget person. So I'm wondering how much, if you do takeout a lot, or if you do, how much do you spend on takeout? Like, that's another good question. Like, is it more expensive to do
Yeah.
takeout than
Do you do budget? Yeah. I guess
Like,
budget,
do
you
you-
have to budget for takeout.
you have to
right?
budget for takeout, don't you?
Yeah, that's, to be honest, it's too much for me.
It should be too much for me. It's prioritizing. I mean, like, food is probably where I'm spending, I would say 75% of my budget.
Oh, yeah. So example, like for me, like when I go grocery shopping, my budget is $250.
Right.
So
Per month or per
per month.
Okay.
Per month. And if you spend $250 on takeout, that's fine. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that because that's how much I spend on groceries.
Mhm.
Now, if you're spending more than 250 or whatever, like, I'm just wondering, is that when it gets a little excessive? Like, I don't know.
Oh, I'm probably spending over that, but no, actually, probably not a lot more.
Well, then that's fine.
Like,
yeah,
I'm probably in like that $350 to $400 a month.
that's
But
but you're ordering high end too, right? Like you're ordering.
I'm not
there you go.
I'm not ordering.
You're not going to McDonald's or something like that, or Wendy's. No.
I try for the most part, unless I'm ordering like really late, where your options just aren't there,
Mhm.
to support local restaurants. I try to stay away from the chains.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you just need a Red Lobster cheese biscuit.
That is true.
Yes.
So where do we see the future of ordering in? Like, I don't know about you, but I'd be interested to see if one day we're just going to have drones like deliver our food or just have it be 3D printed. You know what I mean? Like
3D printed food like to eat?
Wow.
Yeah, don't worry. It's coming.
Well,
It's coming.
the drones part, I know that's already
The
coming.
drones I
Yeah.
could see, but
I
like
could see.
eating 3D food?
Yep.
Like it's not
No,
even
no,
real
no.
food?
So
No,
what-
it'll be real food. It'll just be like
what would be
super processed.
so yeah?
Oh.
What would it be based off? Like, what would be the
It'll be like
base ingredient?
it'll be plant protein.
Well,
Subway's 50% of the way there. So with their chicken.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I-
Drones are probably more like
I think drones are more
Drones are
likely
likely to
until we
get-
get to like the Star Trek replicator business, and even then, I'm not entirely
be
sure
dead.
what the replicator was making this stuff out
You know,
of.
they weren't exactly clear on how it's all
they've
processed.
gone into it, but it would take an entire episode, and I can't. For now, let's just say it's science.
Just say it's science.
Science.
Okay. And if science is, I'm glad doing my meals, I'm glad I won't probably be alive for that because there's no way I want science
Science
to.
is doing your meals
science
now.
I was gonna say science is doing your meals now.
No, but
like the
No, no,
chemistry, cooking is chemistry.
It is.
no, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
like
like the
the
processed
yeah, the
stuff
whole-
and like
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether or not it's like,
if it's real food or not.
real food or not. Yeah. Thanks again for joining us today on Talkily for another cool discuss. Joining me today for Let's Order In was Laura, Sid, and Christy. Intro-outro music was Illuminate by Ethan Rank, found on Artlist. All additional music also acquired through Artlist. All images and videos in our show were acquired through Pixabay. Podcasting services acquired through Spreaker. And if you enjoy the show and would like to support us, please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Visit cooldiscuss.com, visit our merch store, or consider making a donation so we can continue to produce awesome content for you. Please keep in mind, we are just normal, everyday people talking about things we think we know something about. We are not experts on anything. Always take everything you read, see, or hear with a grain of salt. Never get all your information from only one place, and always be willing to question. This is AWC thanking you once again for joining us.